Hey folks, James Abrenio coming to you today, January 8th, 2026. This is the day following yesterday's ICE shooting of a U.S. citizen. I've been trying to not comment on this story. And if I did, I wanted to comment in a way that I thought was useful because obviously a lot of commentary is being had on it. And I figured the best value that I could provide anybody is thinking about it as a trial attorney. Unfortunately, a lot of my cases, both on the criminal and civil side, deal with instances, moments in time that lead to tragic and sometimes deadly consequences. You have video and you have a lot of rewatching and interviewing and trying to understand more context to exactly what's happening. And what I found in those cases, when you have these situations, the best thing that you can do in trying to determine the truth is exactly the opposite of what is happening on the ground today. And I think it starts, unfortunately, from the top. And I thought would be useful is to show you a few statements by our U.S. government and what is being said that is the exact opposite of where I think we need to be at as a country. And so I thought this would be super useful. So this is Kristi Noem, head of DHS, making a statement before the video has been released.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased.
Now, just to be clear, the reason I wanted to play that video is you saw her statements before the video was released, but what is important about that is it's also overlapping the actual video in coordination with her statements. And it's obvious she is telling the public she's seen the video, but what she's saying about the video is 1,000 worlds apart from what the video is actually showing. And I want to be clear, there's argument about what actually happened in the video. I still have a lot of questions when we're talking about what should have been done, excessive force, all those kinds of things. And I'm talking to you again as a trial attorney. I have a lot of questions that I would like to be answered. But then we also have, and I'm not sure if President Trump made his statement before Noem or not, but you have the sitting president of the United States before a video has been shared, and he's telling you he's seen the video, tell you what's in the video. And let's read this really quick. I have just viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman was screaming, obviously a professional agitator, and the woman was driving the car very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer who seems to have shot her in self-defense based upon the attached clip. It is hard to believe he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. The situation is being studied in its entirety, but the reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis. They are just trying to do their job of making America safe. We need to stand by and protect our law enforcement officers from the radical left movement, violence, and hate. So that's the sitting president of the United States having already characterized a video. And again, you may be a Trump fan and you may watch this and say, James, clearly you think that you believe what the Democrats are saying is this is murder and all that. I want to be clear. I'm not doing this video from a political standpoint. In fact, I wish that all the parties would kind of take a step back when we're talking about exactly what happened, because a lot of information needs to be understood. But I also want to caveat that with the problem here, regardless of immigration issues and I think unlawful use of ICE and all that stuff, let's put that aside. The problem here is you have an informational system set up by our government, Donald Trump, Noem, DHS, immigration, that has already decided that we need to go ahead and get out in front of this. And we need the public to buy our story. And no matter what the actual facts reveal, it's pretty confident to me that they've already primed their supporters to argue that this was complete self-defense before we understand and truly understand as a country exactly what's happening. Now, obviously, you're going to say, well, what about the Democrats? The Democrats are coming out and saying this is murder and all that. Understand that. In fact, what I want to do is I actually want to show now a video of Mayor Jacob of Minneapolis and his statements. But I want you to listen to what he's actually saying in his statements, because I think it's important.
They are not here to cause safety in this city. What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people. So they are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed.
And so the point of me playing that clip is not to have you hear that Mayor Jacob is saying that immigration is in Minnesota unlawfully and that, you know, this is a political stunt, all that kind of stuff. What I'm focused on is his statement that they are already trying to spin. And is what is undisputable is the White House and this administration is trying to tell you what the facts are. And it's clear that they're not trying to understand what the facts are. And if you follow any social media from Trump supporters and their system, their machine, that's clearly what's happening. Is they're all already getting on their talking points. And so you see as an immediate knee-jerk response, Democrats saying this is murder. And like I said, the non-politic, the attorney in me would wish that everybody would just calm down and let's get some boots on the ground to actually investigate exactly what's happening. But tragically, where we're at in this country is the Democrats are not in a position to be silent, because the louder narrative in our society now is what wins. It's not about facts. This case, tragically, in my view, is no longer about what actually happened in Minnesota. It is no longer about this 37-year-old mother, U.S. citizen. It is now purely in the political world. And for now, it's going to be plastered all over the news until the next big thing that happens in 3 days or 1 hour or whatever, when either we invade Greenland or do whatever crazy things that's going to be happening. And then 10 months from now, no one's going to remember this young lady from the political world, but the families are going to be left devastated. And as far as the immigration officer, I don't know anything about him. I don't know his background. What I will say is that clearly an investigation needs to be done about, number one, whether or not he used excessive force. Obviously, that needs to be done. Number two, maybe it is indeed a homicide. Maybe it is indeed a murder. There is a lot of questions that still need to be asked. And part of the investigation is why was he there? What was his motivation? Why was she there? What was her motivation? Are there witnesses, additional witnesses? Are there additional video angles? You know, what is the autopsy showing? I mean, there's so many questions that need to be asked that we won't ever really, months from now, there'll be some reporting and, it'll be fodder in politics and all that. And maybe because the midterms are coming up, it's going to be, bigger than it ordinarily would. But, I just think that we're in a position now in our country where facts truly don't matter. It is really the spin. And I wish that I could say to my fellow Democrats, you all need to stop what you're doing. But the problem is no matter what happens, we still have a president that is willing to make a tweet like that. We still have a head of an agency that is willing to get in front of cameras and outright lie. Now, ultimately, what the facts show, I'm not saying both of them are actually lying about the underlying facts per se. What I'm saying is they lie in the sense that they don't actually care what the truth is or ultimately will be determined to be. That is a lie. When you get up and say whatever is on your mind, regardless of the facts, because you need to spin it. Now, I'm a trial attorney, okay? I understand what it is to advocate your position. I understand what it is to present a trial, to tell a jury what I think the evidence is going to be, then present the evidence, and then tell the jury what I think the evidence showed. And you know, some people may feel uncomfortable doing that. That's my job. That's needed. If this case were ever to go to criminal trial against this ICE officer, he would have the right to defense counsel, and the defense counsel should do their job correctly. And there's, you know, if I were the one defending the case, there's theories that I would be investigating and a lot of evidence that I'd be researching and all that. That is a job to be done. But what I'm saying when I say that this administration is lying is they have no regard for the actual truth. And they know what they want the truth to be. But at the end of the day, if it is not what they need it to be, they will cover it up. They will lie about it. And, you know, you may say that, James, you are just biased against Republicans. You're just biased against Trump. But I truly urge you to just take a look at the video yourself and not think about, well, was this justified or not? Because that is what the facts are about. I want you to see what they said about what the video shows and tell me that what they represented to you before you saw the video, what they represented to the public before the video was out, was that true? Was that sincere? And tell me, do you actually believe that they were being honest there? And ignore what the Democrats are saying, assuming they're lying to you. Want to go ahead and assume they're lying? Fine, whatever. They're not the ones sitting in the White House right now. They're not the ones with all the power. And if you truly are the party of Trump, and I believe part of the reason that Trump came into office was because there was a lack of trust in the federal government and their honesty to the American public. Answer me how you can look at that and feel comfortable with what was represented to you in real time. And look, feel free to disagree. I don't really have much more to say to this, except I just I wish the country well, and we've got a lot of pain to go through in the future, and I'm sorry for, I'm sorry for the public that we're going to have to experience what we're experiencing.